I do not have the real sloth trapped in my basement.
Baby Ruth!
Shut up, sloth. I mean, hey everybody. We're back with another episode of This Is blah, 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 blah. Right? You know? The thing we're doing, yeah. Holy shit. I take a little week break, and I don't want to call it a mistake, but there is so much to rewind the clocks on, and I'm down to do it. You know I am. I'm in a good mood. I already took my dab. Got something tasty to drink next to me. I'm going to do something Ben hates, but shout out to Ben Avery, man. Doing it at the top of the show, dude. Live free or die hard, baby. Dude, the show last night was incredible. Oh my god. I don't want to say I feel bad for nobody. It's just, well, the only person you can feel, bad is a strong word, but you know what I mean. You're gonna feel any type of way about some shit. I think it has to do with what happened to Ben. With his stream getting taken down. A fucking comedian having a good time with his people. Not out here being malicious. And can't even talk your shit into the universe. That is the real pump up the volume. They found you, dude. They triangulated your location. They came down with that Thor's hammer and said, no, no, no. You're not Odin. What kind of Prometheus shit is this, dude? I don't understand. I see so many people getting away with the most vile bile that they can spew. And somehow you having a good time is a bad time. And no offense to people like me, but you're not one of the, pokey dopes. The show has a pretty big audience now. Over 10K. Just on YouTube, I mean. It's crazy that a Matt Walsh mention was enough for them to dash you against the stones. The audacity, man. I'm having trouble processing that one. But yeah, just wanted to get that shit out of the way, because shout out to the Lemonheads. We were having a lot of fun last night. Please make sure you do check out the show if you get a chance. No, I don't get paid to say that. I just like Ben. I've always liked Ben. If anybody's ever wondered why I have certain clips on my channel, or what it is exactly that I do, or what I like about comedy, I like people in comedy. And when I see something pure about them, that doesn't mean that it's a force of good or evil. Again, if I see something pure in people, I want to encourage that, protect it, give it every opportunity it can have to be seen and heard. That's what I would want from anybody, And Ben, he's put in the work. That motherfucker has had to suffer quite a bit to get where he is now. And you've got people who don't even want to bat an eyelash. But that's life. That is the truth. That's what we're out here doing, No point in trying to deny it or pretend it doesn't exist, because that's not what we're going to do. Unfortunately, not everybody can just have that Fuentes mentality where it's all a game and you're just rolling the dice a different way. He's saying he loves Epstein. That's taking broad strokes, man. If people thought the Stalin and Hitler shit was not a sign. What's that line in BoJack Horseman? can't see the red flags when you're wearing red tinted shades. It's very true for a lot of people. And I don't want to say I have a problem with them. Again, you guys know I'm a true neutral. I stay in the middle of this shit. But objectively, you could say these things out loud and then take them as you will. I don't have a problem with that. For the most part. Context is important, right? You don't want to clip people out of context and make them say shit they don't intend to, or use AI to fabricate things with their personality. But there's still people out there doing that every day. And then that silent partner agreement in the terms of service with all these different AI, like Grok, and your little chat GPT and Perplexity, that all the content you submit, they technically have ownership of. And you're just feeding all this information into a system that's harvesting it readily. It's pretty dumb to see. A lot of people give Aziz shit, and whatever. But there's a clip I have of his that I liked. I don't know if I took it down, but I think it's still up. But it was one of his specials he was talking about during the pandemic. And, he's making a good point about we are so reluctant to do things on the surface, but if you convince us in a way that's good enough to pass, we'll end up giving you exactly what you want. Because it's normally about how you approach, not what you need. Which is strange, but again, that is how a lot of people operate. But oftentimes, even if they don't want to, depending on how you approach something, if you walk up to somebody or like a family member and say, hey, I need this, motherfucker, they're probably not going to do it. But if you come over and you're like, look, I'm fucked, and I know I'm asking a lot, they're probably going to do that for you, even though they don't want it. And Aziz was just making this point about, when China says, we want your face for our AI database, we'd say no to that. But they don't ask like that. They say, oh, do you want to see what you look like when you're old? And we're like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, yeah. And I get it, comedy isn't just supposed to be bullet points. But I did appreciate that moment in the special where he's like, it's not just an empty threshold. There's some depth there. And it's true. Everybody's so eager now to give it all away. Everything that was predicted is taking place. And look, I'm not acting like, again, go back and listen to the other episodes. I'm never on here claiming I'm the fucking king of the castle. I'm not. It's just, I don't fucking get it. I do, but I don't. Women used to have so much class and dignity. And I'm sorry, ladies, if I got any female fans out there. I respect women so much. When I'm saying this shit, it's not a summary judgment. I'm not being dismissive. It's me saying that in the 1920s, if you showed ankle, a guy was like, oh wow, she likes me. Now you give it all away, and you're empowered by it, and good for you. Go, girl. You want to let the titties bounce, and that line of rope ride up that ass crack. By all means, go out there into the world and live your truth. But at the end of the day, you've sold yourself into the man's trick. Yakub's tricknology. You're doing his bidding. You're just mentally taken, Liam Neeson. And it's not just that, but I mean, think about it. How many women do you know that have floated the line of, oh, well, I sell feet pics on OnlyFans, or I have a couple sugar daddies, but I don't really do that? How many times have you heard it in such a slick way where you're supposed to completely overlook it? But think about it. A lot of women are attractive. If they can make a buck off of it, why not find somebody and do that, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like women have had it the best over the thousands of years. But, again, things don't always read the way they're meant to. Women have always had positions of power in society. They've always had motion. I'm not going to act like women have always been at the bottom of the totem pole. Humanity has had moments of great failure upon itself, and then redemption arcs where we do what we can to restore justice, to prevent a vengeance in the future. All this supplication. At the end of the day, it's a ticking time bomb. There has to be an honesty about things. And I'm not opposed to anybody following the path that they have to, but it seems like everybody's going into this certain field, and nobody ever talks about the chicks or even the guys, whatever you want to say, that go down that OnlyFans path and it doesn't work out. And now all your shit's out there, and what if you have people who don't like you? They just stalk your life. And now every job you apply to, your boss, like a week later, says, hey, I got an email, and it's this picture of you naked with your dick, and I gotta let you go. You know what I mean? Or imagine somebody trying to leverage that they know you have nudes. Oh, hey, I see this. You want to keep this job. Nobody wants to think shit like that happens, but it does, man. Out here in the real world, there's a different element to these things. And if I was only getting 5 or 6 views on my pod, I wouldn't even be doing it. You know, I appreciate that I'm getting a consistent, what has it been, like 50? That one I did got 200. That was really cool. Very generous of you guys. I'm never gonna be ungrateful when it comes to anybody saying, yeah, I can put up with this dude for an hour. He makes me snicker enough. And I said snicker, motherfucker. Don't even. Wascally wabbits. But I think that's enough saute for the intro. We can get into one of the things I want to talk about. Lamario, man. Mamma mia. Oh, no. What have you done? You were the prodigal son. You were the chosen one. You were gonna bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness. I'll let you decide if there was a pun intended there. Anyway. Really, Lemaire, man. I was on a pod where people were speaking so highly of you. What a great hang you were. And yeah, I don't know why, but it seems like everybody around the holiday times just got this stick up their ass to start talking a huge amount of shit instead of having that Christmas joy and spirit in their heart. And I don't understand. I really don't understand. I'm glad that I stay away from a lot of it, but every now and then I tap in because it's just not going down like that. And it doesn't matter to me if people clap back because I've been through enough. None of that shit matters. And a lot of people don't really know me like that, which is fine. But, homie, I've dealt some blows. I've been in some circles. So while I don't think that I'm better or worse than Lemaire or any of that, like, shout out to him. He's obviously a huge talent. Followers. I'm not even going to say, like, don't follow him or fuck with his comedy. I'm surprised that he went on this tirade about the New York talent. It could all be a gag, and maybe he shows up at Skank. But the way that it's going, so far, it's either cleverly orchestrated on a level that most people aren't going to be tapped in enough to figure out, or it is exactly how it looks, and Lemaire is trying to dismantle his career by becoming the Diet David Lucas of comedy, which I don't think that's a good idea. That's not the formula for victory. You're making some mistakes, man. And I see the way that you respond to people when they comment to you. I know you get some harsh comments, but you're telling people just certain base level shit where a guy like you should maybe have a different approach or save these kind of conversations for a different vehicle of discussion, like a podcast. You know, I think if you would have went on the Real Ass podcast and opened up to Lewis about, and Zach, hey, you know, I think New York comedy is starting to get whack and stale, man. This isn't really what you might have had an entirely different conversation about all of this. But you chose to sit on the fucking couch while you were watching Netflix and eating a Hungry Man microwavable and say what you said, and you keep going with people. I'll be sad if you don't get to go to the next Skank Fest. Genuinely. I hope you know that. With everything I'm saying, I would be so bummed out. Because, again, people spoke to what a great hang you were. I didn't even get to see you like that, Lemaire. I don't remember seeing you there. I was too busy hanging out with everybody else. So that's not a knock to you, and it's not like I'm Mr. Big Shot. This is the first time I ever got to go. I just ended up being everywhere. Like, there isn't a name I didn't talk to. There are people I took back to their hotels. It's just, I don't know what else to say, but I didn't really see you around. But I felt everybody else's presence and what they were doing to support Skank Fest, and that's also not a shot at you. But I saw what the other comedians were doing to try and make this a dope event. You know how many compliments I got from people because they saw how hard I was busting my ass? And that's not even my event. I'm not getting paid. But you know how much shit that I got for free? Shit that I got for free, bro. And it bums me out when you're gonna say something stale when that's a product of that scene that you're talking about. And there's a lot of good shit coming out of there. Maybe you just don't see it, or maybe that was just you saying a hot take so that you could get some engagement. And that's whatever. Maybe you'll talk about it and I'll go under the bus or whatever, but it just, I don't like to see it, I guess, is my point. Hopefully that stops, because it'd be a shame, man. But you shouldn't be bragging about living in a millionaire's house. I don't think you should be inadvertently bringing Shane into your shit, like he stands by your shit because you live with him. Don't ever get something like that confused. I promise you, it is not the case. Just because you live with somebody does not mean that they stand by everything you do. So if you start doing crazy shit, there could be a point where you get a knock. He's like, dude, you gotta go. Keep that in mind. That could always be in the realm of possibilities. I don't mean to say you're arrogant, but, you know, it's good to be cocky and spit your shit. But come on, brother, there's levels to this shit. And I thought you knew this by now. That you can't be doing this kind of shit. This isn't the way. You gotta be a better leader than that, bro. Do you not understand your role? You don't recognize the part you're playing right now? You think I'm a bitch because I'm trying to correct you and say in a different way than everybody else? I'm not calling you a faggot or a retard. I'm saying, dude, so many people respect you, and you're hurting the people that respect you. So you might want to take a deeper look at that and see what it means to you. That's it. I'm not going to spend 2 hours talking about you on some Jeff Dye shit. It's not that. I don't want to have some tacticality. It's just get well soon, man. There's way more shit I want to get into outside of the fact that you're not invited to Skankfest at this point. Hopefully that gets changed, but, you know, it is what it is, man. I know Skankfest is still going to be insanely dope. I hope I get to see you there. But you gotta respect this game, man. You can't just be shitting on an entire scene. You can. I mean, you can, but you can't, bro. Not for free. I am excited that Skankfest is going back to New Orleans. I plan on doing things so differently. People have been talking to me about it a little bit. I'm gonna spill a little game. Shout out to Vandal. I really hope that booth does get set up at Skankfest. I want to see it. I really want to see it. I was checking out the figures that he finished. They're insane. I can't believe the detail. Keep killing it, man. Sometimes. Not that I'm sick and tired of this, but you know, you can't have your piece. There's always a problem or an issue. People don't respect what you're doing. And I do kind of owe people an apology because I did the best that I could to make sure that over the past couple of weeks I'd be able to have people come on, and you set shit up and then it doesn't work out because things end up conflicting and interfering. You have no choice in the matter, so you are stuck. And I want to do this so much, but you don't feel like you always have the opportunity to. Or when you have the opportunity, it gets fucked up, or, you know? I just want to be able to talk about all the stupid ass drama that I've been seeing and have fun, or talk about some shit that happened to me. I still think that Alex Jones calling out Ben is crazy, but I don't want to spend a million years talking about Ben. It is just crazy that Alex Jones had to have known who Ben Avery was, because I'm 90% sure. I don't want to go back and rewatch the video to be perfect. I'm not interested in that, but I'm pretty sure Ben was in the background for that episode when Alex Jones and Tim Dillon were together on Joe Rogan. I could be mistaken, but I really don't know how he can take a clip from the show and talk shit about Ben on any level. It just doesn't make sense to me. That is some huge popularity, though. Like, he's gonna blow up from that shit. But just like when he had his stream taken down last night, and the wind got taken out of his sails. Sometimes you are cooking hot and some stupid ass shit comes up, and you're just like, what the fuck, man? You can't even do what the fuck you want to do. You know? I take all this time to prepare and get in the mood and take care of my business, and just having to deal with other people's bullshit, it gets insanely absurd, man, to have your peace robbed from you. It's fucking criminal, dude. Yeah, we normally do an hour here, but my whole mood just changed. So, I guess I'm gonna end it. See you next week.
Wrong with the jokes, are you? Comedy, this is.
Hurry, 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 step right up, get your tickets, don't be a bitch, we're doing whippets, one time, one night, don't miss it. If your palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy, vomit on your sweater already. Follow me! like a fucking bonehead. I didn't want to scrap the episode yesterday. Because why in the fuck would I? It was 30 minutes of good content. I was killing it. I was in the zone. I was locked in. Target acquired. But you can't control the universe. It's going to throw those curveballs, and how you choose to handle them will determine really what you stand for, what you mean. It's all character development. We don't always do it right. And it's not a video game. There's no retry. Isn't that one thing that kind of defeats the simulation principle? Wouldn't we just get infinite retries? Wouldn't it just be like Groundhog's Day? Wouldn't we all be having conversations about it? We're not. Hell, we don't even know what our dreams mean. You've got Candace Owens losing her fucking mind. Or is she? Or is she? Is Candace finally cutting her Pinocchio string? She's sick of Geppetto. And it's time to tell the truth to the masses that, yeah, we all have capabilities beyond what we are told. Isn't that the thing about being told something? Your belief in it? The strength of that belief. There's power in that. Some bonds don't break easily. Now I'm just gonna say, before we get any deeper into this Alice in Wonderland scenario, I'm not taking any side in this. I'm not going to say it's true. I'm not going to say it's false. The idea of chrononauts is not something new. Not to me, anyway. And there's been different names, of course, for time travelers. But I want you to let that shit sink in for a minute. Because I know I've said this before. There's an episode on JRE. And I don't remember the guest. I don't really remember the context, but I remember what he said. That he'd rather talk to the guy who believes in flat Earth instead of talking to the guy that doesn't believe in flat Earth. It's going to be more interesting that way. You know exactly where it's going to go with the person who doesn't believe. They don't believe. It's not real. And what are you going to do? So we all have to kind of make certain concessions, and nothing is perfect 100% of the time, right? That's just the truth. Even now, I'm not gonna pretend that it's all good. We're all struggling. We are in the same boat. But I do appreciate the people that give me an opportunity to get out of the little hellscape we're all in, and we have some moments of happiness where we spare each other the tragedy of life, and we make it our own thing. I think plenty of us spend time pissing it away, occasionally pissing into the wind. So many of us have that built in, where there's a defiance, but the wrong kind of defiance. You know, we'll bend the knee for stupid shit like jobs and bills, but when one of our friends gives us advice, oh, they've gone too far. You've crossed a line. There's no coming back from this one. We used to have a little more cohesion in society, where it wasn't even leaning on each other. It was more the sense of nobody was allowed to be left behind. If you saw somebody struggling, everybody banded together to figure out strengths, weaknesses. In a way, that's kind of what the Legion of Skanks represents. It's a modern day coming together, this web of what people can bring to the table, not what they can't bring to the table. It's something you have to really witness firsthand and not see it through the optic of your phone and social media. It's much different to be part of that and feel it for yourself. They say seeing is believing. Well, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a feeling is worth 1,000 visions.
Can you feel it?
But, you know, I just don't want to make it seem like there isn't this world where potentially we already have figured out time travel. Maybe we have now. Perhaps it's not eluding us, we just haven't revealed it to the public. We all love talking conspiracies, and again, this isn't one that I hold close to my heart. It's just one that I'll talk about because it doesn't matter to me. I don't mind being the vehicle for certain things because I'm not worried about if there's a consequence because, for one, this is a comedy podcast. 2, it's satire. 3, I'm playing a character. I could go on and on like a broken record of all the things where, you know, some people really do get it and they're tapped in. I'm actually noticing this so much. If I'm gonna break character for a minute and get real a little bit, there's some people out there where like, you actually get it. You get what the fuck I'm doing, and that's cool to me because I don't see that a lot. Shout out to Dice Gay, man. You're actually commenting on my shit. Big shout out to Dice Gay. You know how many fucking streams I see him in? Little Andrew Dice Clay riff name, Dice Gay. It's so good. It's so very good. And I'll see him over in the show with Ben Avery. I'll see him in the Lemon Party premieres. I see him over in Cornfed with Dalton Pruitt and Dave Wright, the thinker. There are just some people out there that actually do appreciate the little bit that I try to contribute. I'm not out here on a grift attempt, man. There's no rug pull, right? I like having fun. I know what to say in the moment. I'm quick on the draw. I think a lot of people can tell that just from the way that I speak. Doing this podcast, none of it's prepared. I'm not talking from a script. It's all coming from the top of the dome. You don't hear me going, stuttering, needing a lot of time to collect my thoughts. I'm just riffing. I'm having a good time. When Ken came on, it was a blast because I had somebody who was able to keep pace. Plus, I allowed him to do his thing as well, which was beautiful to see. That is something that I wanted to mention. Thank you so much, Ken Wood. Even though we already shouted him out and all that shit on the last ep, I really hope you guys have gone, and whoever fucks with me, it should be automatic that you fuck with him. The same way that if you fuck with Sam Hyde, you gotta fuck with Nick Rochefort. It's a hand-in-hand deal. That's the same way I feel about Sam Talent and Nathan Lund. You guys know this about me. But yeah, Ken was a great hang. Was awesome to have him on. And I really planned on having a bunch of other people come on. I mentioned this during the bonus episode, and like a fucking idiot, somehow YouTube lied to me, and it made it seem like I could premiere the upload as a members only, because it was set up in such a way. I said, oh wow, this is very cool, makes sense. I'll do this even though I don't have any paying members. Maybe it's a way to kind of incentivize, because I'm not going to sit up here and say it wouldn't be cool to have my little private section of freaks and weirdos and idiots who, you know, bust my balls and don't mind me busting theirs and we just get along. But I'm not going to force that, and I don't want anybody to just give me their money. It's not about, like, it's not give me your money. Paying for the membership, it's how do I explain this? You're giving yourself access to privatized content, meaning the same rules don't exactly apply. That's what HBO used to be about. You know, you had regular broadcast TV, and then you would pay for HBO because they would do things there that you couldn't get away with on regular TV. That was kind of the gimmick. Because you can't be offended by something that you're a paying member for. You can cancel your membership, but you don't have the right to tell that private company what to do. You just pay for it, and if it falls within your metrics of acceptance, then good to go. But if you take issue with something that they have, that's not their fucking fault or problem. That's what they do with their time, their money, their people, their investments, what they think is gonna move them forward. And that is the best part about having a membership, even if it's only $1 a month. I know people were giving Dalton shit because Cornfed still doesn't have the dollar option. He was like, I fucking did it, you guys. Did you get? I love that we were calling them Master Roshi and the Turtle. And I'm sorry, Dalton, but I can't help that. That's the way my mind works. And that's on Dave for wearing all the orange, man. All he needed was the staff, but he had the beard, the shades. What more can you ask for? But yeah, he still didn't get that option up. But think about it. When you have that membership, I'm able to turn up the heat a little bit. It's just a layer of protection for us to be able to enjoy comedy on a more intense level. And so far, there isn't a lot of premium content, and I get that. And something I do notice about people is the idea of having an archive of episodes doesn't always interest them, because these podcasts, what their weakness is, they're time relevant. In a way where, you know, the movies that are fads, the ones that are made for their time, because they have specific references that most people will not get, right? An example of this, one of my favorite games when I was growing up was Conker's Bad Fur Day. It should have been rated adults only, but it was rated M for mature. And as a Nintendo 64 game by a company that made Banjo-Kazooie, a game about a bear with a bird in his backpack that were going on this adventure to fight a witch and rescue his sister. It was a very big pivot, you know? It's one moment you're just doing howdy doody, and the next you're this completely different element. I mean, there's a scene where a bee tit fucks a sunflower, and yeah, it's just a sunflower with gigantic tits. And sure, it happens off screen, but that's what happens. There's a scene where you're fighting a giant pile of shit, the Great Mighty Pooh, and it's singing an opera ballad to you. How is that not amazing? But some of the jokes that were made were references to things where if you don't know the movies, they might fall flat. The same way that Scary Movie, they were starting to pull things a little too relevant. You know, doing a parody of Scream works because to this day people still know who Ghostface is. So that doesn't really need to be questioned about holding up. Sure, the Budweiser commercial segment, you could, like, what is that? Some people might not get that. They'll think it's an original idea. They don't know it's parody of something. But everything falls to the abyss eventually. People forget that it's a reference of something and it just becomes theirs. I hate to put it that way, but, you know, have you ever wondered what we might have stolen from people thousands of years ago and we don't even realize it because there's no written record, we don't have any evidence? What's that old saying about the absence of evidence? It's not the evidence of absence. Something like that. But yeah, it's just a way for you to be able to enjoy shit on a higher level. If you want to pay that buck, you can. There are other options. I have a good for you is $1, good for $2. That's the $2 plan, which gets you 2 episodes of the premium every month. And the thing is, if I get people on those memberships, that means I have to do at least 2 premiums a month, right? If I had people paying the regular price, I have to put out 4 premiums every month, or I'm not giving people what they're paying for. I can't just bow out on that. Then it's a commitment. If I have true revenue, things change. I'm almost to 1,000 on here. We're like, 100 off? Just about, a little over, but we're basically there. When I get to 1K, I realize that I actually get more features. When I go live, I will be on the Shorts feed, for example, and I could just grow more and more. Maybe I could have a live show that I do once a week. And I mean that. What if I had a live show, an hour every week? Art Bell style. We'd do some coast-to-coast shit. You'd be able to call in. I mean it. I'd get a number set up. It's not as hard as you think. It is not as hard as you think for me to get a number set up and give people the opportunity to call in. Other people have done it. What was it? A fucking advice frog or advice gecko? The guy who fucking painted his face green and wore the outfit and shit. I haven't even checked on that dude to see if he's still relevant. That was such a hidden pocket of the internet during the pandemic times where people were really doing anything to fucking survive. The people that were pretending to be fucking a plant in a pot and shit like that. We really had some mental health breakdowns. Those were the real dark ages. Yeah. It just seems like there's a lot of opportunities that are about to come my way. And thank you. I mean it. Thank you to the people. Even though it's not millions and millions and millions of this and that, it doesn't matter, because I do see the engagement I get. By me accidentally having that premium go public, it got some roto on it. That was cool. That's not even a full ep. I normally don't do hours for the premiums. The premiums are like personal stories that have connections to comedy, impressions. The Skankfest Chronicles are on there. And I'll definitely be doing that segment again come November when I go back to New Orleans. Trying to do it bigger this time. Everybody says that, but I'm gonna really try and make some things happen. I hope we do Secret Show again at the Joy Theater. And I'm gonna be as helpful as I possibly fucking can. I'm gonna be, just like last time, I'll run transport. It's gonna be 18-hour shifts from your boy. And I'll make sure to definitely be, I know I was present, but I want everybody to know that the people that I met, if I don't remember you or we haven't been texting like that, we're definitely gonna lock that in this time. There were a lot of people that really made a good impression on me, and I didn't mean to fade you. It's just, you come into a dynamic and you're overwhelmed. You don't expect to be as happy as you are. I was too happy and overwhelmed. You know what I mean? So if anybody, like, if I came at anybody wrong or anything like that, just know I was having a really good time. I was having the time of my fucking life. And I plan on doing that again. I want to actually be able to take my own car, drive, and that way I can explore as much as I want. I don't want to have to worry about renting a car or nothing, because that shit's fucked, man. No offense, I'm not going to talk trash about Hertz or Enterprise, But those companies are fucking up what it means to just get in a car and go. They're making that shit way too complicated for the modern man and woman. And they, them, or what, they're just making it too complicated. It shouldn't cost so much money to just take a car and go. If somebody fucks up and something happens, you have insurance for all that. You shouldn't be holding people hostage for service. You should be happy that people want to use your service and try and get as much fucking business as you can. If somebody out here gets into an accident, you don't want to fucking make them the bad guy. Again, use the insurance, get it taken care of. There's cameras on street corners. You'll know who's at fault. Now, if it's an egregious accident where your customer does something wrong and you can prove it, then you make them pay for all that shit. So your insurance rates don't go up and all that. But other than that, no, fuck that. I mean it. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a hitter. I think I mentioned this on an earlier episode, but I didn't take any of the auto insurance on my rentals. And I didn't get any fines. If they wanted to fuck me over, they could. I heard shiesty shit about New Orleans. I had a little trouble getting my car rental. Guess what? I didn't have no problems when I left my car. I didn't have no problems. I got treated really good. I had a dope-ass whip. I felt cool as fuck whipping around that city. I might not feel as cool in my little rinky-dink Cadillac, but I'll feel alright. It'll be cool for me to cruise. But anyway, we were talking about the Chrononaut shit briefly. I don't know what Candace is on. I hope she's good. I hope she's okay. I'm not for a second gonna buy in any of that shit. Is it interesting? Sure. It's interesting hearing her talk about it. The same way that I mentioned Elephant Graveyard was interesting to listen to. Did I buy into the whole dystopian bullshit? No, of course not, because it isn't real. It's just a good story. It's a good comedy riff shitting on a bunch of dudes who take themselves too serious when comedy isn't about trying to police the world. It's making fun of things. Just kind of missing the point. If anything, Candace Owens is a pretty good working comedian. Would you guys agree? Isn't that fair to say? I think she might be top 10 working comedians right now. And think about it. Person of color, woman, isn't talking about her pussy, isn't talking about anal. All she talks about is how shitty the circumstances are. I mean, Nick Fuentes already said he wanted to bang her out. He was sick of all the sexual tension between them. He was ready to bang her out. He was ready to crack her open. Candace. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? And, I mean, if we want to actually pivot away from Candace, because, again, this isn't a Candace Owens podcast. I just wanted to mention, that was pure gold. That Charlie Kirk is a time traveler and he knew about his death. And yeah, I saw that clip when he was young. He's like, and if you're watching this, then I'm already dead. It's just insane. Somebody could have watched that 10 seconds later. It was probably an inside joke from something. But people read too much into it and they're like, oh, Charlie was a time traveler. So he was traveling time and he knew he needed to die like that to change the future? Is that what you're saying? So his wife could go twerk? And I don't know what you're saying, dude. What are you saying? What are you talking about? What is going on? What are you saying? I'm gonna bring the Tucker Carlson out in me. Another guy's fucking... Ooh, he's deep in. But does Nick Fuentes say he loves Epstein, man? I don't get it. You like a guy that was an asset? Is it because you're an asset? People are saying you're a Fed. Is that why you liked Epstein, because he was a Fed? What are you trying to say exactly? Because there's so many angles to this shit. You love Hitler, you love Stalin, you love Epstein. Why don't you just say you love Satan? Why don't you just say, I love Satan and I think he's cool. I'm tired of I'm not talking about it. And I love the haters. I love when I'm alone. The more haters, I'm happier. But Satan, he's my guy. And if he's not your guy, well, grow up. Just, you need to grow up, okay? Stop smoking weed and grow up. That's his whole thing. It's insane. The moment the Christmas trees came down and he started growing this Jeremiah Johnson beard, he's really decided to, as he calls it, do this villain arc. And, man, to your point, there might be something obscure that's true, but it undermines the point you want to make. Because what you're trying to say, but you're fucking it up, is that there are people that will wear the mask of a villain, and they will do evil for the greater good. But that trope has been played over and over again in life. There have always been people who have said, I am the only one with the vision. I am the only one that sees the coming storm. If you do not rally behind my war cry, you will fall, and all who choose my path will stand tall. That's the biggest grift. It's the original sin from the beginning, that one person can be the truth or be redemption. No, truth is discovered through discourse. If you spend all of your time reading super chats, calling people faggots and retards and telling them to kill themselves, and you don't ever really engage with anyone in meaningful dialogue, you're only making yourself dumber. That's part of the reason why I don't like to do too many solo podcasts anymore, because they come off as self-satisfying, and that's not my goal. I don't want to sit up here on my high throne and pretend to be the arbiter of everything. I've mentioned that too many times. I don't want to be so full of myself, or even though that's not my intention, come off in such a way, because I don't care about what people think of me. It's more so that I do care if I'm coming across the wrong way. Because if you don't like me, I want you to not like me for me. I don't want you to not like me because of something else that isn't me or has nothing to do with who I am. That's gonna bother me. And it's not even because of you specifically, it's just I don't like the idea of people having a misconception. And we're all raised that when people explain things, it's because they're liars. And when they have a long story, it's because they're a really, really, really bad lying piece of shit. But no, sometimes people actually just care enough that they want to articulate as much as they can before something gets worse. Hey, this is what's going on. Sometimes you can't get that to click. It doesn't connect over. And that's unfortunate, right? But you gotta forgive. You gotta give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes if you care about them even a little bit. You can't just bite their fucking head off. And I'm saying this coming off of going to a funeral recently. I won't say when, because people are weird. I mean, if they're finding Ben Avery's address and sending him Chick-fil-A, I can only imagine what some fucking psychopath would do in my life. I've already had a taste of that back in the day when I was modding and a big community. It just doesn't translate well. There's some fucking freaks out there. There really are. And I got too much going on. Like, you know, again, why would Ben want somebody to send him Chick-fil-A when his fucking 2 kids are sleeping in his house and his wife is there? And you think that his wife is going to understand why Chick-fil-A got there? You think Ben's going to lie to her and be like, oh, I just ordered Chick-fil-A, babe? What the fuck is wrong with you? He doesn't need your Chick-fil-A. If you want to send him something, send him money in a super chat, you fucking weirdo. You absolute fucking dipshit weirdo. That's how you get completely removed from being a part of a community or a fandom. It's not taken politely. It's like, wow, you're actually a freak for knowing my address. How do you get that? Do you stalk him? Are you just figuring it out because you're clever? People don't want that, man. That's not what people want. These are the kind of psychopaths you worry about when you go to events. That's the kind of shit I was worried about at Skankfest. I wasn't worried about anything except fucking weirdos showing up there. And it's a lot of money to get in there and show up. So again, you'd really have to be on some shit for something to happen. It's just crazy to me that people got nothing better to do in their life than some shit like that, right? Use your powers for good, man. Why don't you send some Chick-fil-A to Brett Gelman? What's wrong with you, dude? Whether it's Whitney Cummings pissing videos circulating on X, which I'll admit I didn't know about that one. I think everybody knows one of my more popular videos on my channel is the Tim Dillon destroys Whitney Cummings. And I mean, a lot of people who respect me in the Lemon Party chat, in the show chat, they know me because of this video, or the other videos that I've done as well. But this video specifically, the Tim Dillon destroys Whitney Cummings, Ben is my brother and best friend video. It's like a 20-minute clip from one of their earlier pods. If I'm not mistaken, Tim is doing Whitney's podcast. And it's kind of towards the end of the pod. You can see Tim is, I don't want to say jaded, but he's just sick of it. He's kind of done with what Whitney has going on. He is not okay with her having this little pill-induced meltdown, okay? And so instead of just saying I'm done and getting up and leaving, what he decides to do is sit there